You do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter. He can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger.
I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Tank Davis is a violent human being. He's a savage, and he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the hood, you will know.
The potential fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis has become one of the most polarizing discussions in boxing, not because of its competitiveness, but because of what it represents for the sport. On one hand, there's Tank, a world-class fighter with years of elite training and real professional experience. On the other, there's Jake Paul, the social media star turned boxer who's built a reputation through spectacle, controversy, and calculated matchups. The debate isn't just about who would win, it's about boxing itself, its integrity, its entertainment value, and the strange collision of new age celebrity and traditional athletic excellence.
You know how when somebody first come in the gym and yeah. When somebody first come in the gym and they've been coming for like a little minute, so they think they nice now. They ain't get all the everything down pat, but that's how he fight. I don't think he's an awkward fighter. Awkward is somebody, I don't want to call no names, but awkward is different from him. He's not awkward. We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumb fighter.
Shakur Stevenson, one of boxing's sharpest tacticians, didn't hesitate to make his position clear. He believes Gervonta Davis would completely outbox Jake Paul without needing to rely on a knockout. To Stevenson, the fight isn't about size or hype. It's about levels. He explained that Tank's skill, IQ, and timing are so far ahead that the bout would end in a dominant decision victory. Stevenson went as far as to say there's no realistic way Jake Paul could win because Tank's instincts and lifelong experience would always keep him in control.
Between these two guys.
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking I'm Tank, I'm probably just going to go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and said he's got good power. Not even and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is he's been boxing his whole life. Been boxing since a kid, so I doubt that's gonna be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just going to knock that guy out. So I see him outboxing him.
Could you see a realistic possibility where Tank could knock him out? Although more likely that it is, like you just said, a decision.
Nah, I don't see him knocking him out, no.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
no.
Obviously, no?
Hell no. Nah, that ain't really I mean, like I said, here's the thing. I got two sides of me when it comes down to I got a business side, then I got a competitor side. And from the competitive aspect, it don't excite me for me to be okay.
Showbiz the Adult, a popular boxing analyst known for his emotional takes and deep understanding of the sport, echoed similar thoughts but from a different perspective. He reminded fans that Tank has already handled taller and faster opponents like Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios, both of whom were considered physical threats. Showbiz pointed out that if Tank could close the distance and reach fighters with longer arms and quicker feet than Jake Paul, then Jake's height wouldn't save him. What Showbiz admires most about Tank is his ability to adapt and find rhythm, even when facing fighters who seem to have physical advantages.
Emotionally, see if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this too. I looked at I'm sizing them up. I'm looking at Tank and Jake, and I'm looking at them. Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Mario Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He's gonna reach him. I saw Tank's gonna reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him. Listen, I want to say this too. Funny as hell. Before I say all this, Alicia Baumgardner, shout out to you, girl. I couldn't believe out of all the women to be the first one to do 3 minute, 12 rounds is Alicia Baumgardner. And I really know if I have a great endurance, great stamina, and she's doing this shit. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. Because, what's her name? Layla? I don't really know her like that. but she looks like she ain't rattled by Alicia. So that's a perfect dance partner for that. Try to drag Alicia Baumgartner into lake water, see what's going on with that. Shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. But let's get back to Tank. First of all, Tank knows what he's doing. Tank Davis, he said, what he was just making all these implications that it's going to be scripted. When he said, you're paying me, and then he was like, yo, you're going to have to give me extra. And then he said that this is scripted.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%? 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
Chris Algieri, a former world champion turned analyst, took a broader view. He praised Gervonta Davis for being one of the few fighters who can still draw massive crowds in an era when boxing has struggled to stay relevant. Algieri pointed out that boxing isn't just about skill anymore. It's about who can get people talking and fill arenas. Tank has done that consistently. Interestingly, Algieri also gave Jake Paul credit, saying that while Jake may not have the technical ability of elite fighters, his presence in boxing has brought new audiences, people who would never have watched the sport otherwise.
About the face of boxing could be Jake Paul soon. And the
face
of boxing is basically, the face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in and how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
Again,
these are
created products. These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and making funny faces. You know what I mean? And it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate. Okay, it's not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who was a gold medalist, a great fighter and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set, and all over your phone, and all over. You know what, bro? You're going to start to get curious about this.
Charleston White, the outspoken social commentator who's known for cutting through hype, didn't hold back. He dismissed Jake Paul's boxing career as entertainment disguised as boxing, calling his fights staged exhibitions made to generate money, not legacy. According to White, Jake has never faced a real top-tier professional, which means his skill set remains untested in the true sense. He argued that Jake's matches are designed to look competitive while protecting his image. In White's words, Jake is playing the system.
YouTube boxing and what people say is going on in the media, without a doubt, I think Charleston White is 100% right about that. Don't believe anything you hear. Don't believe anything you see. Wait to see how things play out, and ultimately everything will come out in the wash. Well, going into this fight with Gervonta Davis, I had my concerns about the fight because of the same type of reasoning that Charleston White used, except for mine is slightly different. I don't think that either one of these guys are going to try to do too much damage to each other. Number one, because if it's scripted, which more than likely to an extent it will be, Gervonta Davis is not going to put himself in a situation where Jake Paul is going to actually be able to hurt him. And with these 12-ounce gloves on top of Gervonta Davis's hands, which is bigger, 2 ounces bigger, I do believe.
Teddy Atlas, one of the most respected voices in boxing commentary, compared the idea of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis to Logan Paul's exhibition with Floyd Mayweather. He acknowledged Jake's size advantage, but said it wouldn't matter. In his view, experience always beats muscle. Atlas called Tank a dancer in the ring, someone who controls rhythm, tempo, and space. He explained that Tank's precision, timing, and composure make him dangerous regardless of opponent's size.
This is when I heard it. No, I didn't like it, to be honest, for the optics and everything else I just said. But you do have one guy who, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter. He can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's going to sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else. They just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that. It's safer to do that. You don't have to bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that. But I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air? Bang!
Not everyone, though, was convinced that Tank could dominate physically. A number of analysts argued that physics still matter in boxing. They pointed out that Tank fights at 135 pounds, while Jake Paul walks around at over 190 pounds. That's not a minor gap, it's a canyon. Even if Tank's punches carry knockout power against lightweights, they may not have the same effect on someone with Jake's build.
Is a violent human being. He's a savage. And he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the hood, you will know. It's kind of like taking a guy from the block and putting him in the corporate world in a business meeting. He's going to be so out of his element that he's just, he doesn't even know how to argue without sounding like, I'm going to whoop your ass, I'm going to beat your... The way Jake was doing things, he had the clowns coming out.
Dave Allen, a British boxer known for his blunt honesty, gave one of the more balanced takes. He said he doesn't care for most of Jake Paul's fights because they often feel like publicity stunts. He mentioned Jake's bouts against Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. as examples of poor matchmaking. However, Allen admitted that if the fight with Gervonta Davis happens, it could at least be entertaining as long as no one gets hurt.
Exhibition. Thing with Jake Paul, I think he's a good area title level fighter, which and that's a good level, and you can be proud of it. Do you know what I mean? It's good, but the Mike Tyson fight I didn't like. The Chavez fight was just farcical because he's 11 years past his best, up 6 weight divisions, but less of a problem because Chavez wasn't in his 50s. Fighting the MMA guys again. He's fighting people that don't do the same, that they're not even in the same sport. But while they're a bit older, they're still not in the 50s. So all that stuff, I won't really watch any of it. I think I've watched one fight against Tommy Fury, the only professional boxer in and around his prime years, and he got beat. But I think his area title level. I think he works really hard. I think he trains hard. And I don't think he's a bad fighter at all. I don't think he's a good fighter, but he's not a bad fighter. For his experience, he's not bad at all. But Gervonta Davis is a lightweight. So, by all means, if they make a few quid and nobody gets hurt, then great. But I certainly wouldn't be paying a penny to watch it. I think it's just absolutely ridiculous, farcical. Who wants to watch an exhibition? Gervonta Davis is in his prime years. Why is he wasting his time? Why is that having a rematch with the fella he got a draw with? Why is he not fighting?
The reactions from fans have been just as divided. Some purists are disgusted by the concept, seeing it as proof that boxing has become a circus built on viral marketing instead of competition. They believe that fights like this undermine the legitimacy of the sport and reward fame over merit. Others, however, argue that Jake Paul's involvement has injected new life into boxing. They admit that while Jake may not be a top fighter, he's brought attention, money, and fresh energy.
Yeah, you're seeing what I'm seeing. Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. I don't buy it for a second, but apparently they were in negotiations to have this fight happen if Tank Davis beat his previous opponent, which obviously ended in a draw. Which means he's obviously going to go and rematch Lamont Roach in his next fight. But come on, Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a cruiserweight / heavyweight. Tank Davis is a lightweight. This is Jake Paul's mindset. Okay, I'll fight a legit professional boxer. OAP. I'll fight a legitimate professional boxer who's his age, loses. Okay, I'll fight another professional boxer who's half his weight. Honestly, I don't care how big Jake Paul is, I genuinely do think that Tank Davis would beat Jake Paul. I think Tank Davis would be too fast, too slick, outbox him, move around. He wouldn't knock him out, obviously. I don't think he'd knock him out because of how big Jake Paul is, but he would outbox him 100%. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this potential fight. I really hope it does not happen because Jake Paul needs to fight a legitimate pro who isn't a taxi driver, who isn't old, and isn't half his weight.